The objective today is to explain how property values are applied in the context of a parent-child hierarchy in web design. So it'll be a pretty short video, but you'll need to pause often. That way you can do the things that I'm detailing here. So the little details can make all the difference. We'll do a few think right shares here, and then some solo learn skills to apply to your website. What we have not started is talking about hardware yet. That's the next unit, so we're 2 days away from that. In progress, just general CSS concepts. And then what we've completed is the idea of what cascading means. They call it cascading style sheets because the browser determines style, the creator of the website would determine style, but also the user can determine the style if they choose. So there's a border property in CSS which allows you to customize the borders of HTML elements. In order to add a border to the element, you need to specify the size, style, and color of the border. So think right share on here, what does the border property do? And here is a code snippet example of what I'm talking about. If I have a border on my first paragraph here, there could be a 10 pixel padding. The border style could be just a solid box around the paragraph. The border width would be about 2 pixels, and then the border color would be blue. So this to the right is what those different styles would look like if you put them in your head tag in an index.html file, and that's probably what we'll do most often, not using main.css so much because I've just found a lot of glitches with GitHub and using an external source like that, even though an external file like main.css is actually an industry standard for web design. It's an important thing to remember that most people do the styling in this separate file. So there are various styles supported for the border style property. Dotted, dash, double, these are probably some of the most common, but there's a ton for you to choose from. So what I want you to do is start bordering everything you can on all your repositories in GitHub, but go ahead and wait a second before pausing the video to do that so I can walk you through it, okay? Something about the background image here, the URL specifies the path to the image file. So there's two ways to do this, creating a relative or absolute path. Now by default, the background image is placed at the top left corner of an element and is repeated both vertically and horizontally to cover the entire element. And I've seen many of you in class already using this background image code, which is great. So for the rest of you today though, let's at least get images placed in our GitHub accounts as well. So here's the code to do that. For now, I'm just saying go to your index.html file and just put this inside of your body tags. And as a think right share on this slide, go ahead and just straight copy this code. The question is, what is the code to add an image for HTML? And then I just want you to copy pasta this into your GitHub accounts. So that's why you're also writing it as a think right share into Canvas. So here I am in my GitHub account, and as you can see down here, here's the body tags and then my image source. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you guys. So here's the image source equals, and this is just a picture of the Starship Enterprise. So this is going to show up on my page here. And now you can see that the image is cut off. Bonus points today if you can tell me why that's happening and how to correct it. There is a correction for it. But for now, let me skip that in terms of teaching you things. I also want to teach you how to use these borders. So big goals right now is getting the image and borders up on your websites. A great way to do border here is to put it inside your head tag, a style tag, and then create divisions. That way you can create different types of borders on different parts of your page. If we go down here, you can see my first division is an ID tag, but for you, let's just go with class tags right now. So I have a class called steps, and it says here's my first paragraph. I have a class called dotted, just because I decided to make this a regular dotted border here. And if you go up here to this dot steps and dot dotted, you can see the CSS I was using. So when the objective says there's a parent and a child, don't freak out over those terms. A parent is a pretty easy idea to understand. So like here's the body, right? This is the parent and the child is the H1 tag. So anything below the body the oldest tag first is the child. So in terms of hierarchy, the child, whatever's said last, will take effect. So if right here I typed in like P equal or style equals, and then going up to the color here, line 7, it says in the dotted class, right here we're in the dotted class. In the dotted class, make that the text red. If I put right here that I want the text to be blue, the child has the last say. So again, don't freak out over that hierarchy terminology and the idea that we can call things parents and children. Just think of the term parent meaning older. So the tag that's older is the parent. So those two tasks are not very difficult here. Just another view of how to divide up your website. You can pause here if you need to copy this code down. Again, just the same thing you've seen before on my GitHub page where I've created two different types of classes. You have to save the image you want to your GitHub account repository and use the correct file path if what you want to do is put an image on your website that will never change. If you look back at that code I put on GitHub, what that's doing is taking the information from another website and then providing it on my page, which is great, unless that other website goes down. So there's so much to learn about CSS right here. I'm just encouraging you to go on to other YouTube channels and check out the work that's been done there. They're going to go probably much deeper than I am in CSS. So if you really like the aesthetics and the beauty of creating websites, you can go deeper into that. We are 2 days away from the end of this very short unit. So what I want to do right now is start working on the website that you'll be using for your final project. This means you're going to go back to your WebEd repository and start crushing through work there, okay? So I'll demonstrate here and then post a link to your updated WebEd website. Okay, so I learned two big things today, how to add an image and also how to add a border to the website. So let me go here and inside the index.html, I'm going to just delete the words. This is the first paragraph. I'm going to delete words like this, and instead I'm going to provide instructions on the lesson itself. So to begin with, in this intro here, I'm going to type creating borders and adding images will make people like your website more. And so then right here I'm going to change the wording to describe the steps a person would take in order to create a border. So to create a border, the CSS one would use looks like this. Adding images is also a great feature of CSS. Add an image. To add an image inside of your index.html, simply type and then a \A. The tricky part here is not to use the angle brackets, or else the code will pick up on that as if you were trying to code versus put code on a website. Bonus points for if you could figure out how to add a snippet of code right there onto your website. Alright, so to wrap up the lesson, choose an IB question to answer, and then here's your DOL. It says, given the following code, what CSS property will be applied and why? So you have your style tags. Inside you have a class called myDiv. And then you have the body being colored green. My div, the words are being colored red. So down here, once the body tag occurs, the division is created. Here's some text. So essentially I'm asking what color is this going to be, some text, when you have two conflicting CSS codes here.